lost line in the sand. Where will you stand?
Possibly, just possibly, for the last time for a while, Hanok Young is in the same time zone as me. We just don't know, man.
It's a definite maybe, Mike. That's
Yeah,
the
I
thing. It's a
know, I
definite
know.
maybe.
Yeah, I've been watching the rockets this morning, the rocket attacks and incoming missiles and all that kind of stuff, and it worries you after a while. And then I saw one that was headed toward Moda'ine. That
Yeah.
one, of course, piqued my thoughts and interest and prayers a little bit more. So, well, from the state of Florida, Allergy City.
It sure seems to be. Wow. I've got it, and I've got it bad.
Oh, well, prayerfully, hopefully you'll be able to get out of there, get back to Israel,
I
and
sure hope so.
yeah, I know that you're really looking forward to getting home. So am I, by the way. We share that as a mutual interest. Okay, give us the update. What do you see out there?
Okay. We've got ground troops in southern Lebanon.
Yeah.
We are warning the civilians to move north past the
Hmm.
Litani River. Um, and I'd really like whoever's listening to this goes and then looks at a map and sees where the Litani River is. That needs to be
Yeah.
our secure zone. That
Yeah.
will help protect our northern border from the anti-tank missiles and the kind of smaller weapons and mortars by keeping them further from our border.
Hmm.
Certainly, the larger elements, their missile array, we have to take out. In the meantime, we're still looking at Yemen, waiting for the Houthis to unleash what they do.
Hmm.
There evidently is some kind of strategy behind what Iran is doing, what Iran is not doing. However, here's the little caveat. They constantly imply and threaten that they have all these secret weapons,
Hmm.
stashed somewhere. Um, Impossible to know. And then you see unconfirmed reports like China offering missiles to Iran, um, because a lot of what's going on now from the American perspective is economic.
Hmm.
If there's a regime change in Iran, the oil flowing to China will stop.
China, yeah, we got China, Venezuela. I was looking at a report last night that basically this thing turning out in our favor, America becomes really has control then over the oil of the world for the most part.
Yeah. Now, astoundingly, the Jew haters of the world, and those people that we used to listen to as columnists who have turned so vehemently have painted this strictly as a war that America is participating in strictly on behalf of Israel.
Yeah, to the point that Netanyahu called and told Trump that he was going to get into this war. I just kind of have a problem with that.
But in the mind, it's interesting. I used to occasionally listen to Megyn Kelly.
Hmm.
She seemed to be a voice of reason.
Used to be.
It is, you would describe it as a mass insanity, but it is Qatari money. And money talks, and well, y'all can finish that sentence any way you like.
But this thing of Jew hatred that you brought up, Hanok, I actually was, have dealt with this in the last few days. Those that have this thing of hatred of Jews, of the Jews are not the Jews, and all those things, and
Right.
anything that a Jew has ever touched in the world is defiled. And if
Yeah.
you guys do it, of course, as you've been told, you Jews are wrong about everything all the time. This thing of Jew
Best
hatred,
comment I've ever gotten.
yeah,
Best
that's a
comment.
classic. This thing of Jew hatred is beyond the comprehension of anything sane. I would say, a demonic presence that goes along with this Jew hatred. And as we've talked about, I've talked about with Barry, who's there with you, where you're at. It comes back down to a fight over the covenant. And of course, that is the remembrance of Amalek, which is descendant of Esau. Okay, so it's all easy to plot out.
Astounding that it all has begun on Shabbat Zachor,
Yeah.
where we're to remember what Amalek did and blot them out from the face of the earth, and Purim. It's so weird. And again, I think I mentioned this last time. The very first line in Megillat Esther is talking about Achashverosh, who rules from India to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And in that week, we had Prime Minister Modi of
Hmm.
India meeting with Netanyahu and President Herzog in Ethiopia meeting with the Ethiopian president. It's like, do. You can't make this stuff up.
Now there
You
was
can't.
I saw a meme, and I don't know if you saw this or not, because it's, you get a meme on or something on Facebook, and you can't confirm it anymore. But there
No,
was a synagogue, the synagogue at Beit Shemesh, that there was a Torah scroll and
I saw that picture.
a
Yeah, went
fragment of
right
it
through to that
to that exact verse in
section. Yeah,
Deuteronomy.
yeah. Okay, I have no confirmation on that. It's dramatic.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but I would tend to think that either someone believes in Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed is He, or they don't. I don't see someone who is so like there is no God and it's like, oh wow, boom, there's God. I don't know. I just those kind of things make me sigh, you know?
Yeah, and we could go into all kinds of things about Esther and that, and we don't really have time for that. There is you mentioned something about Netanyahu. What's going on with him, the eternal prime
An
minister?
interesting rumor, uh, unconfirmed, but it seems legit, that should this war continue as successfully as it's been, and it winds up, the Iranian regime falls, most of the world's terror infrastructure literally disappears overnight. Again, caveat, asterisk to our American friends, that doesn't mean that sleeper cells of terrorists that you all let in through what was supposed to be your southern border, doesn't mean that they're not there. But the existential threat to both America, Israel, the Arab states like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Europe, etc., is gone. So should this all go well with Hashem's help, Netanyahu would then call snap elections in June. We're scheduled to have elections in November, but the prime minister can resign at any time and start the process. And I believe elections have to be within 90 days. Could be
Oh,
60 days. I don't, we've had so many elections, I don't even remember. I've already voted in 9 elections in 16 and a half years.
so
Uh,
if that
that's
happened,
when
go
his
ahead.
popularity is highest,
Yeah.
because we in Israel love our generals, and Hashem has blessed us with a victory in every single war. Now,
Oh
whether
yeah.
it's worked out diplomatically afterwards or not, irrelevant, actually. So,
Yeah. I mean, that if that happened, then maybe, Vance could be, the next in the next election, Vance, it'd be a Vance Trump presidency. And, then something happens to Vance and Trump is there and we get Trump and Netanyahu again. I'm
I don't,
joking,
yeah,
folks
no,
out there. I'm just,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a grain of truth in every weird statement. That
Yeah.
wasn't a weird statement. What I'm referring to is Tucker Carlson stated that Trump is the last pro-Israel president.
Yeah.
And even from such a vile person as he is, there can occasionally be a grain of truth.
Yeah. No doubt.
And I was one of those people, and maybe it's because I'm in Florida. I am one of those people that thought that Marco Rubio would make a better president for the United States. And I had thought he happened to be leaning more to the pro-Israel side
Mhm.
than not. But then I saw him being interviewed by the press. And first of all, he seemed very anxious, very
Yeah,
nervous, and said that, Israel pushed America into this war. Now, within less than 24 hours, his boss, President Donald J. Trump, came out and said, no, actually, I forced Israel's hand.
yeah,
And again, and I say this with deep depression. Israel has become a vassal state of the United States of America.
true.
We do not go to war. There is nothing that we're in the midst of doing in Lebanon that hasn't gotten the thumbs up from Trump. This is we're on a tight leash.
Hmm.
In the same way that when Trump decides that this is it, when he declares victory and says this is over in Iran, we're 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 done. There's nothing else we can do.
You talk about the vassal state and the tight leash. When I saw, I can't remember when it was. I think it was right after Trump got into office this time, and Netanyahu was there. He literally, to me, looked like a lapdog. So I'm not even
You
thinking,
said that. You said that to
yeah,
me repeatedly. Yeah.
I don't
I
even
can
think that
certainly.
Israel is on a tight leash because Netanyahu doesn't need a leash. He's right there on Trump's lap, and nothing's being done by Netanyahu. And I know that that bothers people out there that are Netanyahu fans, but every the deaths that happened after October 7, all of that's on Netanyahu. And it
How
goes
can it?
back to
How can
the
it not be?
yeah
How can it not be?
the second Intifada. All of this can be put on his lap. Now, you mentioned something that I want to go back to. I was
Uh-oh.
having a conversation with someone about this recently. Sleeper cells in America.
Yeah.
We're watching the rockets and the drones and all of these things, and an Iranian submarine being destroyed. F-35 just won their first dogfight in the air.
No
All of the
surprise, by the way. No surprise.
oh yeah, all of these amazing things that are happening.
Right.
But you said something regarding Yemen, and this might be the strategy. There is strategy happening in Iran.
Absolutely.
They do have they are winning the award right now for shortest time in office. Just so you know, I mean, somebody's voted in at 9 o'clock in the morning, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're dead. I just don't see there's a lot of people lining up for this, but
But
there,
there is a new Ayatollah already. It's
yeah,
Khamenei's son.
yeah, and
I
so
mean,
how long is he going to be alive? Is the thing. Will
hopefully
he
not
make it
long.
till midnight? We don't know. At a certain point, that caged lion, I think that there is some strategic things that they have set in place that this is kind of like, okay, if nothing else works, we release the sleeper cells.
Yeah.
And I've
And
been waiting for
I
this to see. I've been waiting to see this for a long time because America does not have the stomach for suicide bombings.
no. And it's recently having been in Texas, what I heard many years ago of kind of this like, we've got our guns here in Texas. Yeah, but as I pointed out, Granny doesn't pull out her Glock and starts clearing aisle to aisle as she's going to get her milk and an oatmeal. Excuse me, milk or grits.
Yeah.
I I remember years ago asking, since there seems to be no one manning the southern border of the United
Hmm.
States, whom do you guys think are coming across your borders? Is it merely Central and South Americans and their families in search of a better life and opportunity in America, who are willing to roll up their sleeves and work hard. I would love to believe that,
Yeah.
but you'd be incredibly naive. Now, again, anything that goes wrong is going to be blamed on the Jews.
Yeah.
And as paranoid as it sounds, um, okay, now switching gears for a second. One of the images that is stuck in my head of this war so far are the American pilots downed over Kuwait by mistake.
Yeah.
Are they not trained how to operate the anti-missile systems? I'm sure they are. How can three American F-15s be shot down?
Well, Hanok, that just kind of opens up another can of worms, and of course, that's not a real kosher thing to do. But
As long as you don't eat them, it's fine.
as long as you don't eat
It's
them, okay,
fine.
you got to fish with them, and and then don't wipe your hands off when you make your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You'll be immune from everything and anything. I'm proof of that. Um, we have we have the so-called partners of Qatar, of Saudi Arabia, of Kuwait, various places. Excuse me, folks, if I don't buy into the thing of trusting them. All right, these are Muslim nations. These are Arab-controlled nations. Amalek. All right, going back to Esau. I just have a little doubt here.
It's disturbing. America,
Slightly.
America, very little in the world is as it seems. We found this out as a kid growing up in New York City, doing shelter drills in elementary school because we knew this nuking New York at any time.
Yeah.
Okay. Soviet military, their ground forces, not their intercontinental ballistic missiles, but their ground forces in used to have been smoke and mirrors. Am I freezing up? You're
Yeah, you
freezing up.
did. You say
Good.
that last sentence again about
The
the
Soviet ground forces, excuse me, the Russian ground
yeah.
forces, Ukraine, have proven to be smoke and mirrors.
Hmm.
Um, and they've lost, some estimates are as many as 1 million men in this war.
You look at the world situation, and we have more missiles. Another red alert there. Um, it may seem on paper that we're doing well in Iran, and I pray we are, and I believe we are. But Russia and China and North Korea, if you think that if a person thinks that those people are just sitting back going, "Wow, the United States is doing so well, we ought to just go ahead and lay down our arms and join in." These people are insane. Trump the other day looked at the Democrats. When you have Benedict Jeffries and you have AOC and Tlaib and when that's your heroes, you got a problem.
And it's more than a few Americans. It's
Oh
more
yeah,
than a
yeah.
few.
But Trump looked at those people and said they're crazy. Well, compared to North Korea, Russia, and China,
Ain't
those
nothing.
people are
Ain't
are, are
nothing.
sane.
Sane and sensitive and liberal, kind and caring.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's there.
No,
There's so much happening out there on the world scene, and we're just getting little snippets of it. And that's the thing. I've taught this so many times. When when you're looking at a screen, you don't know what's over there. Okay, I mean there could be. I could have anything out there. You don't know it.
It's it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah.
Um, so meanwhile, the question becomes, what should our listeners be doing?
Ah,
Now,
you probably have
this
something
is
to say about that.
this is like, the favorite part. First of all, I am astounded how many people I encounter who really want to go to Israel and they're serious about it, but and in some cases they even have passports, which is an encouraging sign. Oh, wasn't always the case. However, are y'all still saving? And then I get this blank look. Dot, dot, dot. If you haven't been saving, start right away because you ain't never going anywhere, guys, without money. Not a lot of money, but it's a question of reordering your
Yeah.
priorities. Again, the classic quote, people have money for what they want to have money for. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Number two, are you writing any notes to your elected representatives, encouraging them to keep going, to keep pushing for, to keep voting, to keep supporting the administration's position vis-a-vis attacking Iran? That's number two.
You'd be proud, Hanok. I actually reached out to an elected official this morning who is pro-Israel, and I'm encouraging. So you can teach the old dog, okay?
Okay, as much as you and I tend to view everything as personal, it's like, like I'm sitting there in my tefillot and my prayers and I'm saying, Hashem, seriously, y- our skies will open when? The the 10th? No, 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 no. Can we make it the 9th? And the thing is, there in the classic words of Shlomo HaMelech, of King Solomon, redone in a 60s format, to every season, there's a turn to, okay,
Yeah.
there's a time for war, there's a time for peace, there's a time to club people. And that's I call that Hanoch time. Just kind of have labeled it.
It is an
It
official season.
is official season. But it's also a time for reaching out and embracing. It's a time for congregations to coalesce, for congregations to say, it is important for me to attend the congregational meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are priorities, and yeah, there are this, and I need to do that, and I'm being pulled. You can't be pulled away from something that's a priority in your life. And if there's an occasional exception that you can't make it, you've got to make sure in your heart that you're committed to being there next time.
That was a bit more profound than maybe some caught. Uh, what
I
is a
have those
priority?
moments. I
Yeah.
do have those
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah. Once in a while we both stumble over something. You can't be pulled away from what is a priority in your life.
Yeah.
We went
Sorry.
this week's Torah portion, the infamous golden calf. And
Yeah.
what does Hashem say on the back end of it? Remember, guard the Shabbat.
Many times people have said to me, as they've begun this understanding and this change in their life's focus of problems that they've had with jobs. I cannot tell you how many opportunities when I lived in America I had to pass up,
Hmm.
how many conferences I could not attend, how many mandatory business meetings I had to say, I simply cannot. And there were jobs that obviously I didn't get.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not saying look at me and do everything that I did. But within the Jewish world, this is how we've adapted.
Hmm.
It used to be in the early part of the 20th century, that businesses would say, if you can't come in on Saturday, don't come in on Monday.
Yeah.
This was a big, because people say, like, well, weren't Jews who who were religious in the old country, wherever that was, once they came to America, why did they give it up? Part was economic pressure, part
Yeah.
was lack of education. And there's the other thing. A congregation has to continue studying and learning and improving and reaching for that next rung on the ladder as
Yeah.
they go up.
Yeah.
And here's something else. And I've seen this as I travel. Again, this is trip number 27. I'm tired. Y'all have to reach out and embrace your pastors and congregational leaders. They are doing essentially a thankless job. The hours never end, the demands never cease, and they never lessen. I would like to know that people who are listening to this, at least some of them will go over to their pastors, to their congregational leaders, to their elders, and say, I just wanted to thank you guys. And I want you to know that we appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't want anyone to think that this is a kinder, gentler Hanoch. Those attempts have not worked out well in the past. But I'm of all the things that people can accuse me of, Mike, no one ever says, you never tell us the honest thing that you're thinking. But I'm talking now, not just for my head, but for my heart, because the struggle that I have witnessed from congregation to congregation is so real. It's so palpable. It's so, I can't escape it. I can't forget it. I can't tune it off.
Yeah.
And I feel it. And I believe that we collectively are at a stage in our history. And I underline, for anyone who believes themselves to be part of the people of Israel, sorry, kids, it would be nice if we could catch our breath, but we actually have to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And we have to move forward together,
Yeah.
figuratively at least, with our arms around each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make one last statement regarding Shabbat, what you talked about there regarding, what you had to pass over things. Um, I'm not of the camp that tells people, well, if you embrace the Torah, quit your job and, sit in your recliner and trust God.
No,
But what
definitely
I
not.
will say is that in my mind, I've never written this down, but I could give a person a long list. I mean, a long list of people that I know that said, I'm going to start praying about this. It's impossible. There's no way that my job would allow me to not have to work on Shabbat, but I'm going to start praying about it. And I
And
have a long list of people that prayer was answered, and they then did not have to work.
and maybe it means that you take that extra course at night, or you get that certification, or you get that other skill that enables you to transition to a different job.
Yeah. Or
This
get a
is,
promotion.
people have to begin thinking,
Yeah.
not just feeling,
Yeah.
thinking and feeling.
Yeah. Got it. All right. Well, pray all goes well. I'll be watching the news, of course, with
Yeah.
the airlines. And
I'll let y'all know.
I know.
You know,
Yeah.
it's really, it's interesting. Someone asked me just yesterday, what do you think you're allergic to? Is it the pollen here? Is it? And I think I've passed the time limit that I can healthfully stay in America. This is my longest trip, and it's
Hmm.
too long.
Well, see,
And
you and I have the opposite problems, Hanok. You get here, and after a while, you can't breathe.
yeah,
I stay here, and well, actually, I guess it's the same.
it's
We
the
both have
same.
to go back,
It's
and
the
as
same
the
from,
as the
from
wonderful
different
song,
views. Yeah,
"This is the air I breathe." And there comes a time in exile. I just got to go to Israel and breathe for a while.
I hear you. I
So,
really do. I
yeah.
really do.
All right.
Anyway, guys, see y'all soon, and I'll keep you abreast of where I is and where I ain't.
All right. Very good.
Take care,
Till
Mike.
next
See
week.
ya. Bye bye.